For him. When we were back in the game, I decided to enter the specimen room, since that's usually a place that most people avoid, and it's also perfect to eliminate crewmates. There was no one in specimen, up until I entered decontamination and I saw orange, but I decided not to do anything. I then found Killer once again, and he was just staring at the bathroom stalls. Since nobody was around, I decided to eliminate him, since I was running out of time, but then I was sent back in time. And Killer was now alive. Didn't I just eliminate him? Why is he here? I then heard a loud scream coming from the bathroom, and Captivate appeared. He's a creature that you can find in the bathrooms of Polis. Killer has just summoned him. Me and Killer were just staring at Captivate. Why did Killer do this? A white light then covered my screen, and I was right next to Killer's dead body. Captivate was no longer there, but there was a bunch of crewmates around me. Killer's body was then reported, and at first no one suspected me even though I was right next to the body, but I was ejected anyways, into the lava pool. After that match, I decided to leave Polis completely, and I entered a match in the airship map, and when I entered, Killer was already there, waiting for me. When we got into the game, I was the imposter once again. I've been imposter the majority of the time, but Killer was also the imposter. It was both of us. I spawned inside of the brig and made my way through the main hall up until I entered the shower room and Killer was standing there. Killer is also an imposter, a very powerful imposter to be exact. And I really wanted to win this game, but he was just standing there. I decided to leave for a second, and when I came back, there was 2 players near Killer, and me and Killer ended up taking out both of them at the same time. We got a McDouble, and we won the game together. When I entered the next game, I lost my imposter streak. I was a crewmate, and I spawned inside the kitchen with Cyan, but Cyan was giving me these weird vibes, and the moment I tried to escape, the doors closed, and Cyan took me out. As a ghost, I made my way over to the shower room to check up on Killer, and he was standing there. The ground then began to shake. I heard the sound of running water. A massive wave then covered my screen. An aquatic appeared. I think me and Killer just summoned him. After the last game, we took out Cyan, and when you take out Cyan in the shower room, aquatic appears. Killer then reported my body somehow, but he was dead. How did Killer report my body if he's dead? Did Aquatic get both of us? Players in the chat were also very confused. How did Killer report my body? And how did he himself die? I then got myself into a match at Mira HQ, and Killer was here. I didn't know what to expect after everything that has happened, but when I tried to get into the game, several players have already left. Maybe it's a sign that I shouldn't be here. I took my chances and I decided to stay in the lobby, and I found Killer standing in medbay, hiding. My screen then began to glitch, and I left the area as soon as possible to try to avoid what Killer is doing. I then found Killer standing in the admin room, and my screen was no longer working. Unknown 2.0 then appeared on my screen and crashed my game. I took this as a sign to not return until tomorrow. I do also want to give a massive shout out to Kitty King for helping me produce this video. If you would like to support a smaller creator, make sure to go check out his channel and subscribe to him. And if you want to see more story videos, make sure you hit that
chicken breast nuggets really cares. A lot. The most. 2 for $6. Arby's. We have the meat.
It was 4 in the morning and something strange happened while I was playing Among Us. I usually wake up at 4 in the morning to play some games of Among Us, but something strange and scary happened. And before I tell you my story, according to YouTube, 77% of you have not hit that subscribe button, which means that you're missing out on some of Among Us' darkest secrets. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button with all post notifications turned on, and drop a like on this video if you do enjoy. But now, I'm going to be telling you my story. So I got into a game and you can see that the opposing player has the same color and username as me. I was really confused because I've never seen anything like this. Usually when you load up a game of Among Us, it doesn't allow you to have the same username as someone else, or even the same color. So I typed in the chat, "You have my name," waiting for him to respond. And that is when another player joined the lobby. His name was Sans. And what I found really suspicious is that at the very bottom it said that there was only 2 players in the lobby when there was clearly 3. I didn't know what to expect. My clone didn't even respond. So I tried walking around the lobby hoping to get his attention. That is when another player by the name of Dangit joined. He ended up leaving the lobby, and that is when I know entered my game once again, and his username was Killer. I'm sure if you've been watching my videos recently, you know exactly who this is. And I began to question, is Killer trying to haunt me? What exactly does he want from me? I got really scared. I think Killer's trying to get his revenge. One thing that I noticed about Killer is that he was standing right next to the computer, and he wasn't even moving. All Killer did was just stare at me. I began to question once again, was Killer the one that created this clone? And what message is he trying to tell me? We now had enough players to start a game. I didn't know what to expect. The game started and I was the imposter. That is really suspicious. When I first loaded into the game, I could not move. Even my clone couldn't move. Then Killer decided to move and he stood right next to me and my clone. He knew exactly what he was doing. Dark Blue decided to call a meeting, and I decided to type in the chat, "I can't move." Nobody was typing. Dark Blue decided to vote out Cyan. He didn't even type in the chat, which I found really suspicious. Until Killer decided to type in the chat, "It is me." How could Killer be the imposter if I was the imposter when I first spawned in? I have several questions, but it doesn't end there. When the game loaded once again, you can see that I was no longer the imposter. My clone was the imposter now, and I could clearly see his tag. And if you play Among Us, you know that this is literally impossible. Was Killer behind all of this? I began to chase down, trying to see where he would go. I was honestly scared. And you can see at the very bottom right, I have the option to sabotage and kill, even though I was a crewmate. When I ran past cafeteria, you can see that Killer was just standing there, facing the left side. I chased down my clone all the way to security. My clone then tried to kill Blue, and in the process of trying to do that, he disconnected. Usually when you do a kill animation, you can see the player move, but when my clone dashed forward, he magically disappeared. When the game ended, it said defeat, but in the background you can see that I clearly won. I am so confused. When I got back into the game, you can see that my clone was not there anymore, and I was now the host. That is when Killer joined the lobby and decided to leave a message. Killer said, "Hello, Chari. This isn't the last time you will hear of me." How does Killer know my name? I got very scared and I decided to ban him. I don't know what message Killer was trying to tell me, but I hope I don't find out anytime soon. I also do want to give a massive shout out to Kitty King for helping to produce this video. If you want to help out a smarter creator, make sure to go check out his channel and subscribe to him. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like down below.
You guys get to talk. But I'm playing this game called, I forgot, but this is my name, King Wolf. Let's see who's fight.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another Among Us video.
And make sure to like and subscribe, click the notification bell, and subscribe to my other channel called Sonic the Hedgehog.
And before we get any further into this video, 70% of you have not
Really
hit that subscribe
hot
button, which means that you're missing out on Among Us Darkest Secrets. So why not solve that issue by hitting the subscribe button with the bell icon turned on? And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like down below. But now let's begin with today's story video.
Start this game today and
Among
make
Us,
it
I
out.
stumbled upon one of the most cursed lobbies of all time. When I spawned in, I spotted a player who had the longest username I've ever seen. The username was even going outside of the dropship. I've been playing Among Us for a few months now, and I've never seen a username that long. I didn't even know this was possible until today. But that wasn't the only strange thing happening in this lobby. At the very bottom, it said 10 out of 0 players. How is there 0 players in the lobby? This was by far one of the most cursed lobbies I've ever seen. When we all spawned into the cafeteria, the player was in the game.
Yeah, you better
At first, I
die.
thought it was a
You're gonna
glitch in
win
the
this.
dropship,
Yeah,
but this was an actual player.
it's actually
His
my
username stretched
story.
across the entire cafeteria. Several other
You guys have
crewmates
not
took
seen the
notice of
views.
this issue
You guys
and
have
were
never
in
seen the
disbelief
playlist.
as well. I I made my way over to a medbay to do my medbay scan. Hopefully a few crewmates watch me. Since a lot of the time that I play Among Us, I usually get voted out because people think I'm an imposter. But when I finished doing my medbay scan, I saw the player's username right through the wall, and he was an admin. The player left, so I just did my card swipe. The first few minutes of the match were pretty normal. I did my wires and electrical, and I walked into storage to do my wires. But that is when a player appeared right behind me, and it was me. There was another Charlie in the lobby. He had the same color as me and the same username. But when I first started the match, I didn't see him. He randomly showed up. I started to run away from this player since he was impersonating me. But this player kept chasing me. I was honestly getting really scared because the beginning of the match didn't start out that
try and
bad.
pull him back.
There's a clone in my lobby. For a moment, I thought I lost him, but then he teleported in upper engine. So I kept running and running, and I tried my best not to stop. As I was approaching storage, the player teleported right behind me, and his username was I will take your soul. So that made things a lot more obvious on who he was trying to take out. I continued to run until I finally lost him. But what is he up to now? As I was doing my wiring in storage, the player with the long username appeared once again. But why is he watching me? I tried my best to ignore this player. I tried to run towards medbay, and all the sabotages were called, and all the doors were closed. I was stuck in admin, and I was forced to fix the O2. Let's hope the rest of the crew manages to fix everything on time. The player with the long username entered while I was in admin, and when he came out, I could see a medbay scan just roaming around, but there was no player inside. When we were fixing communications, Blue was killed by the medbay scan, and then the player appeared once again. Nobody was able to report Blue's body, even though everyone was in communications, until White was killed and the body was reported. As I was typing in the chat, everyone voted, even though I didn't vote for anyone. All of our votes went towards a dead crewmate, and he was ejected, but he was dead. How could a dead crewmate be ejected? When we spawned in, the meeting was called again, and we all voted. But this time Blue was ejected, and he was also a dead crewmate. How is this even possible? When we all spawned in, all the sabotages were called and randomly fixed. Pink then called the meeting, and everyone voted for her, even though none of us made that decision. We all spawned in, and I tried my best to run away, and a meeting was called by Cyan. And the same thing happened with Pink. We all voted for Cyan. So whoever's causing this chaos is turning the crewmates against themselves, without any of us having control of what to do. As I was in storage, I spotted my clone once again, and he killed Orange, and his character changed. He was now Cyan, who was a crewmate that was ejected earlier. I ran away from storage in fear of being his next victim, but while I was in navigation, I spotted my clone once again. He killed Purple right in front of me, and he was now Black. I left navigation and went to cafeteria, and my clone was in there. He tried to chase me down. As I approached lower engine, I saw my clone. So I ran in the opposite direction into storage, and my clone appeared once again. I was going back and forth with my clone. I kept going to lower engine, and he was there, and he also randomly appeared in storage. It was just a constant loop between both of us. I wasn't going to give up now. I'm not letting him take me out. I somehow managed to run away from him, and
get out of here.
So I went to go look for him, and he randomly killed Brown. But this time, this mysterious player turned into a dead crewmate, which was Blue. And he was also the crewmate that was ejected even though he was dead. I ran away from that location in fear of dying, and I randomly called a meeting. But then when I looked at the voting section, there was 2 Charlies. Why is there 2 of me? I typed in the chat 2 Charlies, but then the imposter won the game. Even though I said my username, when we all spawned back into the dropship, I said, who are you? I want to know who this mysterious player is. Yellow then typed in the chat Cyrene Sorrel, and he also sent the same message, but this time he had the username I will take your soul, which was a username that was chasing me earlier. Then I saw my clone in the chat once again, and he also typed Cyrene Sorrel. A few other players began to type Cyrene Sorrel in the chat. Could this be why the lobby said 0? Could all of these players be Cyrene Sorrel, and I just never realized? But before I could type in the chat, I lagged out, and I was stuck in a black screen. So I woke up and I appeared in a random lobby. I didn't see any other players, and the lobby no longer said 0. My username was still the same, and my color. So why am I here? As
you guys really like this, guys could like and subscribe to Charlie,
and it's impossible to be in that location
YouTubers, and go check out TV, guys, and see you.